Hello? Hey. Yes, I can hear you. Mhm. Yeah, well, me and Sakurai will probably be able to deal with it regardless of how many people are there. Okay.
I think I got extra time for getting that one up too. That was kind of interesting.
Still getting ready. Don't worry. I'll go fetch him real quick. Oh, there he is.
I'm assuming you can hear me, or maybe not.
I can hear you.
Why is the title I?
He's not going to be able to hear us. All right, so in this game, there's a gauge in the bottom left corner. And so essentially, when you're in human mode, or when the gauge is blue all the way to the left, all your point items will be doubled in point item value. Double their point item value. You will also gain time orbs by simply shooting enemies. When the gauge is red, or it's flipped all the way to the right, the player will gain time orbs by grazing, but only during bosses.
Also depends on whether it's a spell or non-spell, right? The amount you
For
gain.
yeah,
It's 1 on non-spells and 3 on spells. Except if you play solo yokai, then it's 2 on spells. Because they get shafted double.
your the PIV in this game is influenced by collecting time orbs. And in order to collect time orbs, aside from hitting enemies unfocused while in human mode or grazing, you can also get them by canceling bullets. When you kill an enemy in IN, any familiars that they summon will cancel bullets around them. When bullets are canceled at their source or when they're just about to be fired, the player will gain double the amount of time orbs that they would usually get. That's why you're going to see him, canceling stuff or hitting his cancels right when the enemies shoot their bullets. You'll see this more predominantly in stage 3 and the early game.
One important thing to note in general is that, mainly speaking, there are 4 shots in this game, and each shot has 2 characters. But because for some reason IN is a huge game, Zim made it so that each team also lets you play the solo counterpart, and this shot is one of the solo counterparts. It's the human part of the ghost team shot, which is Youmu and Yuiko. But because Yamu's a half ghost, things that a team can do. But she also gets the added benefit that solo humans have, which is bigger cancels and more time gain per damage. So she scores highest in every category.
And Solo Young also has
The shorter gauge.
oh yeah, the shorter gauge. And what we're gonna see here is because this spell changes how many bullets are fired depending on depending on if you're focused or unfocused. Because he is only a solo human, it will only fire these fast bullets. As opposed to if you were a solo yokai, it would fire a lot less. He bombs the spell so he can actually kill it.
Yeah, the bomb is you could get to red gauge with the cancel from non-spell before, but the reason he bombs it is because in order to cancel the spell, you need perfect damage control on the last second, and Yomu's bomb just happens to deal the perfect damage if you time it right, to leave Rigger with like 2 HP essentially. What would happen if he didn't bomb is that he times it out and he loses the entire bullet cancel and the time gain you get from the familiars that are on the screen.
Not only
That's
that,
why.
but sorry, go ahead.
That's why he bombed. That's all I wanted to add.
Not only that, but if you also time out the spell, you also lose the point items.
Oh yeah, that's a thing. I forgot.
Yeah. So it's very important that he actually kills it.
Yeah, because the thing with point item is they give points, obviously, but they also increase the value of the time orbs. Each time orb gives you a certain amount of score. It starts at 100, and the way it's determined is it's technically point items by 10 divided by 5 by 2. So it's realistically speaking just point items by 5. So if you how many items is it? Like 5, 6?
For what, the spell?
For the first spell, yes.
I think it's I don't know for sure. Part of me wants to say 10, but
So let's say it's 10. So you have you get 10 items, and that means every time orb would be worth 50 points less, if my math is correct, which I hope it is. Right? It is correct, right?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, it's 50 points less per time orb, and you get like, I don't know, 150,000 throughout the game, maybe 200. I don't actually know how much you get in the main game. But it actually adds up to a significant number if you miss point items.
Yeah, because at the towards the end of the game, when you get to Kaguya, your time warps are worth anywhere from like 7,900 each to like 8,500 each. And because you're getting so many time warps, it plays a large part in getting a larger score.
And missing 50 points from every time orb, starting with late stage 1 is a huge loss. So it's quite mandatory you get every time orb possible. So there's this synergy with point items and time orbs that one gives the other a higher value. So you want to maximize both. Which is why grazing isn't worthless late game like in other Touhou games, like say UFO, where you don't do anything on the final boss. Whereas here you still you can in order to maximize time orbs because they give significant amounts of score at this stage on, well, the final boss. We completely ignored stage 2, by the way. It's already over.
Yeah, one other very important aspect of Youmu and by extension Ghost Team is that her damage is actually capped, and if you split the damage between two different enemies, you can actually get the uncapped amount of time warps because your time warp gain per shot is tied to how much damage you deal, and because they're capped, they only get a certain amount of time warps. But by splitting the shot, they will reach that uncapped amount, I believe,
Yeah,
right?
yes. The way it works, Yomu's main shot deals 150 damage, and her option deals 120 damage, but only if the option shoots a different target than the main shot. The damage from the option gets reduced to 60, so it's halved if you shoot the same target. That is to say, if you shoot the boss with both your main shot and your option, you deal 210 damage. If you shoot and you gain the time respected to that. If you shoot two different targets, that is to say, for example, the boss and then an familiar, you deal a total of 270 damage, and you gain time depending on that. It's theoretically also the highest damage output, but in reality you'll never deal 270 damage to the boss because the familiars only transmit 50% of the damage they are dealt to the boss. Also, one important factor is damage dealt to familiars cannot finish off a non-spell, but they can finish a spell. So if a boss is shooting familiars on a non-spell, you have to shoot the boss directly in order to cancel the non-spell. But you can shoot a familiar to cancel a spell. I don't know why this is a thing, I just know that it is.
Yeah, you'll see this a lot on stage 4, stage 4B. He might try to milk certain nons by just simply hitting the familiars. But I would imagine that would probably depend on what his resource totals are at that point.
Well, one point where you're definitely gonna see it is the mid boss in stage 3, because you wait for the advantage this has, by the way, is that you can have perfect damage control on non-spells with literally not even a pixel left of the fault. You just need to like fart at the boss and the pattern dies. So that's very helpful in that regard.
So here on this spell here, he's getting a lot of grays, and that's because a lot of those arrowheads are actually stacked inside the Mentos.
Yeah, we call those big ball Mentos because they resemble Mentos candy.
Right.
Well, I doubt this run is gonna get 6.8, but you know,
Yeah,
generally
yeah.
considering he failed the first spell already from Mystia. But generally speaking, Rivers is one of the best IM players in the world. Next to, say, Livia, who's commentating with me, Iwana, who, well, plays Ghost Team, and I don't know if Rory is still active, but he's all up there. So that's like the best players for IM you can get. I put Inufushi too, but he's not active anymore.
What one other thing about Soul Yomu is that unlike Ghost Team, she is actually able to lock her option in place,
Yeah,
and it's very useful when you're trying to get cancels, especially on stage 3. Since it's one of the only ways that you can probably do that here, and you're gonna see Rivers do a really good job at using that aspect of Solo Yomu.
yep. That's one advantage that Yomu has. But it also means that there's some attacks that are just harder because you have to angle lock. And the thing is, say Buddhist Diamond, right? Okay, that's maybe a terrible example because you do it on focus if it goes team then, which just makes it impossible. But say you don't, you know, you have to at world record level for Ghost Team. It means that the ridiculous, retarded amount of time orbs you gain with Solo Yomu restricts your movement a lot because the time orbs, if you focus, push you towards the yokai side, so it pushes you towards red, and you don't want that. So you can only make very short taps when you dodge. That's not something that Ghost Team has to actually think about because Ghost time team time gain is reduced. The formula is different, so even if the damage is the same, they get less time for the same damage. So that's a Yamu only issue, that you gain so much time that you just instantly lose your human gauge. It can happen in a couple spots in the game. So a good Yamu player has to pay attention to that also. That they can't dodge too much, so they have to like either get lucky with the pattern or just read ahead to see what's actually coming at them, which is sometimes difficult considering that, say, again, the lasers on Buddhist diamonds, they spawn randomly. You can't look ahead for that, so
need to be kind of lucky that you don't get a shitty gap. Well, that wasn't intended.
It might have. I'm not entirely sure.
Nah, the way he died, there's no way that was. The problem is he already failed as well, so I think the resource count was already off. So I don't think that. I mean, it's not a terrible place to die, but the timing was bad. He should have died the way you kill yourself here, with like one of the small fairies dropping the big point power items so you can cancel. With that, instead of losing a couple point items from the big fairy, right? So that was definitely on purpose. Not on purpose.
It didn't seem like he missed a whole lot of them though. Since I think there's
Yeah.
only a total of 501 items, I think he should have at this point. It's not too bad.
Well, he was stuck between two patterns and then just died on accident. He says.
Oh, okay. One thing I want to actually bring up real quick though too is that everyone in the chat might notice that there's two numbers in the top left corner below the boss's name.
All right.
Yeah, the number on the right is how many familiars that were not killed or canceled or left the screen otherwise. And the one on the left is how many familiars are currently on the screen. And both those numbers play into how many time warps that you get from familiars dying themselves. It doesn't really play a huge part in this category per se, but when you're playing shots like Scarlet Team or anyone that takes Final A, or not Final A, Stage 4A, you'll be paying attention to that because lots of familiars will be fired and you will get humongous cancels throughout the fight.
Yeah, Remu spawns an arseload of familiars.
The only other place that this might be somewhat relevant is Kaguya's third non, but not a whole lot of people like to do that.
I mean, that one is just messy.
Yeah, it's dangerous and.
But yeah, the bigger the number on the right, the more time you gain for each familiar that you cancel from the number on the left. Basically, that's what you have to think about. So bigger numbers are better.
Yep. One other thing too is that if you bomb and you kill a spell, you will get a penalty to that cancel. But in scoring, you don't see that much.
I didn't know that either. What kind of penalty are you talking about? I mean, you don't cancel familiars that you kill with a bomb.
Okay.
That's...
So basically, when you bomb, when you clear something with a bomb, you'll occasionally get a +0, which means you get reduced cancel from it. Yeah. It is a thing. But it only happens when you finish off the spell with the bomb. Like if you let the attack frames go away, you're fine.
Yeah, okay, that I knew, but I thought you meant that even if you finish it off way later, that it would still affect the cancel. But
Oh no. Should have
okay.
clarified. My bad.
So I misunderstood. Okay, I thought there was some hidden mechanic with the bombs that I didn't know about that worried me for a second.
Wouldn't surprise me though.
It wouldn't surprise me though because I don't have to. I'm not allowed to bomb anything ever.
Yeah, that makes sense. All right, so stage 4. Zune designed 2 different bosses for this stage, depending on the shot type that you play. In Rivers' case, he's playing stage 4B. and he's going to fight Marisa. If you were playing Scarlet Team or Magic Team or any of their derivative components, you would be playing Stage 4A, and you would fight Reimu.
Reimu is better for score. So Scarlet Team scores higher than Ghost Team, for example. In theory.
In theory, Scarlet Team is the highest scoring shot.
Nah, I don't believe that.
I think last time I checked, Rory splits were like 7.1 bill or something.
Yes, but who the fuck is doing Youmu splits? No one. You have to consider that no one has updated any Youmu split since 1972.
Fair.
So I don't like I don't believe that even though Scarlet Team has a better grace box and gets to fight Reimu, that the potential and theory is higher than Yomu's. I just don't believe it. Because you gain score over Scarlet Team everywhere in the game. Because the cancels are bigger. It's like 50% more more time on every cancel. If you do the cancels right, I mean. So nah, there's no way.
I don't know. I want to. Until I actually see something from Solo Yomu in terms of theoreticals, I'm probably going to uh, assume that Scarlet Team is better for the time being.
For sure, for the time being, maybe.
For the time being, but I mean, unless evidence supports the contrary.
Yeah, Rivers needs to make Yomu splits for the entire game and then calculate the potential. Though in practice, Yomu will always, because even if we concede the fact that Scarlet Team has higher potential, you're not going to reach that ever.
Of course not.
Because it implies you grace like everything perfectly, and there's like 100 patterns you grace in this game. Nah, there's no way. I mean, isn't the Scarlet Team world record only like 30 million higher than Ghost Team?
No, I think it's actually it's 10 mil lower, I believe, right now.
I'll look it
Because
up.
Ghost Team is 6.66 at the moment, and I think
Was
Rory's
it
is 6.65, if I'm correct.
was it already 6.6? Damn. My memory is terrible. Okay, Scarlet Team is 6650. Indeed. Ghost Team is 10 million higher. What the heck? Ghost Team is probably more active because it's the nicer shot. It's probably the easiest shot to get into for this game. Because with Magic and Scarlet Team you face Reimu, as we said earlier. And Reimu is just the harder boss, right? So there's already a point where some people avoid her.
Yeah.
Yomu is simply harder because you have to work around the familiars because you can't make turn them invincible, which yokai can do. So if you turn into Yuko, the familiars are invincible. And Border Team just sucks for score.
Border Team is kind of it's in a weird situation. If you're like the way you play Border Team is you just want to no miss. You just want to no miss, and just bomb like one spell and that's 3 treasures and then clear the game. The thing of it is that if we're talking based on of like how hard is it to get like 5.5 billion or whatever, Border Team is deceptively hard. I think last time I think my 5.5 took I think 7 months I think compared to my dose like 2 months or something. It's just it's a lot harder in terms of because they just don't their shot is just not optimized for scoring as well as Ghost Team, Scarlet Team, and Solo Yomu is.
I'm glad you didn't mention my Magic Team because that one sucks too.
Yeah, they suck too, but at least they get stage 4A at least.
That's true. They get free score from that, but they're just as terrible at scoring as Border Team is.
Yeah.
I mean,
And I guess
Marissa
their
is a bit.
human shot's stronger too.
Yeah, Marissa's a fair bit stronger than Reimu and gains more time, but
And you just eviscerate Buddhist Diamond as well. That's also pretty big.
that's true. But if you look at like stage 4, Magic Team just nah. Can't even damage both fairies on both sides. You have to like wait until they go into the middle or kill them early.
Yeah, there's Magic Team stages are also pretty weird because of their dot.
Yes,
I can't quite remember how they actually deal with stage 3 cancels though. I'd imagine
stage
it's pretty awful.
yeah, they have to be losing thousands of time on stage 3 alone. Stage 4, stage 2 as well on the times where the fairies come from both sides, right?
Oh yeah,
With
yeah.
with magic and solo Yomi, you just kind of shoot them with the option on the other side. Actually, I know with Ghost Team you just sit at the bottom. I remember. Man, Yuko is so convenient for cancels.
Can be, but because her shot spreads out and each butterflies the butterflies can do different amounts of damage sometimes. It can be hard to manage your damage.
True, I think the ones in the middle the most, and does it like get weaker as you fan out, or how does
Yeah.
shot work?
Yeah, one of the most annoying things with Ghost Team is that specifically on stage 3, if you miss your positioning, like even slightly, you can just miss a cancel for like no reason. And it just feels bad. But overall though, Yugo does help a lot with actually getting them.
But now stage 5, someone was asking about Raisin earlier. She's coming soon.
Yep.
Stage 5 is also one of the easiest stages, isn't it? Or is it just deceptive?
I'm not sure how hard or easy it is for Yomu. For I think the only real hard parts of the stage are probably the two spam sections. K's first non probably. Um, and there's a few things on Raisin here and there that are kind of tricky, but overall it's not as hard as everything else is.
Yeah, makes sense. I mean, if you consider what you have to do in stage 2, 3, and 4, especially with Yamu in 4, this just seems not like a breather. How do you say? But it seems easier in comparison. Not
Yeah,
necessarily easy because you can die to hugging those fairies. I've tried, uh, but definitely easier than what you do in the other stages.
you also have to be careful not to actually gray those items either,
You
because
do
if you stick
grade
to
some of them.
oh, do you?
On the big ones, yes. Not on the Mentos ones, but on the other ones where you hug exactly. If you get unlucky, you have items spawn on you anyways, even if you move out of the way.
Oh yeah, yeah. Here he's gonna stick to the left because it makes the spell the non a lot easier. One interesting property that these nons that Tay has is that they actually kind of act like spell cards. They don't give you the spell card bonus, but they do give you items at the end, which is very unusual for nons. You also Soloyomu has to be very careful to not get the dreaded Tay bug,
Not
which
really a
means
bug.
yeah, which means because if there are too many items on the screen and you kill Tay, it can actually just kind of delete the one up, and that on its own kills a run immediately because of how much your resources are worth at the end of the game.
by the way, one thing we haven't mentioned at all yet is that there are two kinds of familiars, red ones and blue ones. And a human, which is say Youmu, will die if they get hit by a red one, by a red familiar, but touching blue ones is okay. Reimu has immunity to all, but Marisa, Youmu, and Sakia die to red familiars if they touch them. Yokai are immune to them though, so if you play a team and you shift, you can't die to a familiar. They like turn invisible or some shit.
Yeah.
This is important on a couple sections in the game, knowing which familiars you can touch and can't. So on stage 4 and 5, for example, you can touch, I think, just about every familiar. But say the familiars on Tay, they will kill you if you touch them. So you want to avoid that.
Yeah. In terms of rank does have some influence on some sections of the game, but it's overall very negligible. The only two sections that it has any effect on is K, I believe the second non, and the stage 6 opener. So the only times that rank actually affects anything in this game.
Does the safe spot change if your rank is low? On
Yeah, it
on
does.
the stage 6 opener, I mean.
Yeah, it does.
Damn. Are the bullets slower then, or just less, or how does it work?
I'm not entirely sure. I just think there's a lot faster, and they reach certain parts quicker.
Okay. I mean,
That's why things going on.
I guess in your case the rank isn't really any different usually because you bought
Yeah.
1200 times.
Yeah, usually because the variance in rank is so low compared to USD. By the like by the time you die and your rank drops to 8, you can just cap like one spell and it just jumps straight up to the max rank again. So usually you won't have that issue where rank affects anything. But if you do, it will affect stage 6.
I'm a bit shocked at how small the hitboxes for the bosses are in the main game. Because when he was hugging Raisin for the Grace at the start of the spell, I was thinking if that was Moko, he would be dead.
Yeah, the only other boss with a questionable hitbox, in my opinion, is probably Mystia, because we're Grayson, we tend to crash into Mystia a lot more than we'd like to. But yeah, I see your point there. Yeah, Moko has a very weird hitbox. I think it's like a elongate. It's like a very large rectangle widthwise, right?
No, it's actually like vertically aligned, but it's very fat horizontally still. It basically is the entire character length at the bottom. So her feet stink, so she kills you even if you're a bit away from them. And then the rectangle, you see how her pants are like very wide? You have to go up the entire length. So even though you have to basically consider that the pants are the entire width of the hitbox. So even at the top where there's only the head, there's just empty space that will kill you. Because the bottom part of the hitbox is so wide and it doesn't actually like get smaller at the top, so it's very large for an IM boss at least.
Yeah. I think here he's gonna probably do the back and forth strat a little bit here. Usually, what players will do is they'll just sit in one place and kind of like stream everything. But you get more time lords by just simply going back and forth and just grazing stuff.
It's also more likely to kill you.
Oh yeah. But at this point in the game, any gain in time orbs is welcome because they're worth, I believe, 5k, I believe, at racing at this point in the game.
Well, considering he has 1,160, it's more like 5.6k.
Okay.
Man, my time orbs are never worth it so much.
So slowly, any shot that isn't Ghost Team will grace this spell. Like this, Ghost Team will usually bomb the spell because you get a lot of graze from all the bullets that are spawning. One thing you have to be really careful about is, excuse me, crashing into those blue balls.
Fortunately, you can cancel their spawn if you happen to be where they would be spawning when they would be spawning. And tragic.
Yeah, this last spell is kind of memo. It still has some RNG elements to it, but if you do the same movements every time, you'll be relatively okay.
Yeah, it's called Taylor Meme. Yeah, Taylor
Yeah.
Meme.
Hella meme. Yeah.
Now you can choose between two different stage 6s. No one actually plays 6A, so you'll basically always see 6B in score runs. Because 6A sucks for score in several
Yeah.
ways. You get less items and the boss has less grazes, and she's
You also
also shitter.
you also don't get your night bonus at final A,
Oh yeah, that too. That's
which
like,
is funny, but makes sense.
how high is it? 140 million point
Yeah,
times.
it's
It's like
140
210.
million.
440 million time bonus? Isn't it? Isn't the
It's
night bonus
it's 20 mil
100?
for every 30 minutes prior to 5 o'clock, and
It's
uh,
140, right?
yes, it's 140 million.
And then lunatic gives a 1.5 multiplier, and that was a very bad death. So it's
Correct.
210. It's not
One
440.
one thing I want to bring up real quick is these enemies. The familiars are the ones that drop the point items. So if you accidentally kill a familiar, you will lose the point items. So it's very important that Rivers does not kill any of these familiars, or any team for that matter. And generally, you wouldn't want to just kind of stall out that last fairy because you lose some of the time orbs when airing comes in and crushes them. But
Yeah, but
if you're trying to play safe, that's fine.
if the RNG is terrible, then you might not be left with much of a
Yeah,
choice.
yeah. But just know that at this point in the game, though, uh, your time orbs are worth a lot. And so missing even 100, 200 time orbs is going to equate to like a 4 mil loss. And that's something that IM players have to keep in mind when they're on stage 6B. Usually IM players will just kind of play safe because a lot of the time it's just not worth going for all the new crazy strats that have come out in recent times. But there you go.
Yeah, we are scrubs basically, and we like to play safe. We
Yeah.
don't take unnecessary risks. We like to pretend we do, but we really don't.
Yeah, Rivers has to be very careful on this Dawn because it can wall you really bad. It's center strats. Yeah, if you on Dragon Bullet, if you start the spell on the right or left, it'll actually be easier because there'll be a little bit less density in the balls. Here, the familiars will fire bullets depending on where the player's location is. Usually, I would if it were me, I would start in one of the corners. But I guess Rivers is after the a little bit more time orbs, so he's starting closer to Kaguya. In Buddhist Diamond, the most optimal play is just to stay unfocused in human mode the whole time. But it's a really, really hard thing to do because of how dense the stars are and how the string of arrowheads can just lock you in.
Also, impossibly high amount of time orbs you gain can cause you to not be human anymore. It's very tragic.
This is also another really hard non, especially if you're doing it unfocused, because it can often be really hard to know where how spread out those orbs are and where they're going to be until they're actually like right in your face. And Rivers is doing a pretty good job right now of dealing with it, and it looks like he's trying to time it down. It looks like, which is really gutsy play.
Risking it all for nothing.
Yeah, for Ghost Team, it's barely worth it. But I guess because the cancels are larger for Youmu, it would be a lot more profitable for them.
Well, that's
I'm surprised he didn't try to graze that. I guess he just wanted to end the game as quick as possible, which is fair.
Run's already dead anyway. Who cares? But yeah, not grazing Salamander Shield is kind of a weird decision. It's not like it's terribly hard. Even I can do it, and I don't practice anything in the main game.
Yeah, I think it also might come down to the finger positioning on the keyboard and stuff too, because I believe he plays it a bit differently. I believe with his fingers on the keyboard, but and that might play a big factor in how difficult it is. All right, so here, Cordial is it's roughly the same as it would be for other shots. The only difference is that he can't start shooting the familiars until Kaguya starts becoming vulnerable. Otherwise, he will actually kill them, and that's a bit of a problem because he loses some of the cancel from the familiars. Yeah, I believe if I remember correctly, I think he plays using the numpad and uses his thumb on the main arrow key, I believe. But I don't quote me on that. That's just what I've heard. I think I've heard him say that in the past. Alright, so I wonder how he's gonna play this.
Save straight. No super try-harding grazing on this.
By the way, he's trying to align himself. By the way, but okay, good. He got that.
Oh, so he is try-harding.
Yeah, he's. I imagine he would. Question is if he's going to try hard LS2 and LS3 and stuff. That's what I'm wondering. Because I know he's been practicing the cursed methods.
I've seen him
No, he's
practice
not.
LS2
Okay.
but what is the tryhard method on LS3?
You basically hug the center, close to the center. Yeah,
What the fuck? How
yeah.
much? What's the spell bonus after that?
I can't remember. I think it's like 2 or 3 mil more or something. I think.
So
I can't
so
remember.
so it will be like 43 or so.
Yeah, but it doesn't look like he's doing it. He's understandably playing safe here. But in case I want to know, you can just go like really really close to Kagi up there and almost point blank everything and get a lot of grays. I do not recommend you do that though.
Might as well just do LS4 vertically. Who cares then? It's a bigger game.
Yeah, it's like close to a 10 mil gain almost. Yeah, but it's like you got a good different opener variant. Yep. So for Rising World, the safest way to dodge this is actually in one of the corners. And that's because the density kind of lowers down there. The spell also has different bands of fast and slow bullets. You'll kind of notice them a little bit here. Captain, nice. 6.3, 6.4, 6.4, 6.5. I'm guessing. Yep.
And now for the encore, Rivers is gonna play 3 billion iron extra.
Test.
You can just start and finish it overtime. Who cares? You're literally the last guy in the schedule. So if you go overtime, it doesn't matter.
Yeah. I mean, what do you want to do?
Well, then play the extra. It's only half the time the main game is. Just do 3 billion. Don't practice. It's easy. You can fail like 3 spells and still get it. I mean, I can get it. I can fail 3 spells and get it. That's what I mean. Yeah, the death in stage 6 was pretty bad.
Good
But
work
most
though.
of I like it. It's like 6.4, 6.4, 6.5, 6.5, 6.5, 6.5, 6.5. Then you have 6.6, and it just jumps to 6.8 immediately. It's great. Imagine if those were red familiars. Youmu would be praying for RNG every run. Please line up properly. Please line up properly. It's easy though. Which one are you looking for? I can tell you the number.
Oh, Rivers, if you're talking, I don't think they can hear you.
Oh damn.
Yeah.
Well, that makes sense actually.
Can you hear me now? But now the question is, maybe now the Discord people can't hear me, so.
I can still hear you.
Oh, you can still hear me? Okay, then that's nice.
Yeah.
So both of them can use the same microphone, so yeah, that's nice. Yeah, so just recap, I tried to show how stage 6 is supposed to be done. And that's yeah, so this is a new strat, which I tried to not use it, but the macro memory was here, so I died. I don't know.
It's easier in practice every time.
Yeah, that still sounds stage 4A. Just kidding. Oh, no. Well, I think 6.5 build is acceptable, so if I only got a really low score, I might try to clear another round, but wait. Oh, and also, like, I think someone asked if I play with 4 fingers. Yes. Although I'm not using the number pad, so it's kind of weird. You have to put your thumb under your other 3 fingers. I don't know anyone else who does the same, so. Wait. Oh, how much are the delaying? It's not really milking from. It's not really milking during the invisibility. It's more like So the thing is, the invincibility is so long that if you only shoot the fairy with your ghost half, it's too slow. In which case you only get like 500 time off from the cancel because it's too slow. So you have to shoot it a little bit with your main shot after the invincibility wears off. But if you do that, there's not enough time to move to the other fairy on the other end of the screen. Like you can check out the run I just did. So because I didn't make it, the fairy on the other end fires a ring of bullets, which killed me. So yeah, so I have to do that to maximize the game. It's only worth like 100 because you only you can get 600 by not using this strat, but you can get 700 with this new strat. So it's only worth like 1.5 mil. Yeah. Dang, I forgot how to do stage 1. Why? Why? If you are going for like 6.9 build, you should get at least 25k from stage 1. So I only got like 24.1. Oh wait. Yeah, 24.1 from last round, so the reason is mostly because if I really want to get a good stage 1, I might just stay in stage 1 for like an hour. Not really good for the event. Okay. Yeah, this is hard. Okay. Eh? Oh, I just saw the comment. This is probably easier since you don't need to micro up a map. Not moving a person. Yeah, well, I think it's partly because I'm really bad at the original strat, so I might die anyway from there. Like even Rockwood in this stage it was like a lot. Well, plus regrowth movement is just garbage sometimes, most times actually. Okay, nice, nice. Okay. Oh, nice movie. Yeah. It's kinda embarrassing for Ibira to work on a stage one because the grid is so unoptimized.
I apologize for this highly entertaining commentary.
Yeah, like this kind of movement is just really bad.
How much
Yeah.
RNG is to Wriggle's first spell?
Or what?
How much RNG is there to Wriggle's first spell? I imagine the bullets might change a bit depending on her vertical movement, right?
Yeah, like the height affected. So also if I mean if she's too high, you just don't get any bullets from like the portion that's out of the screen, right? So the number of bullet itself decreases.
Damn.
But if it's too low, like the angle of the angle increases, and because of the square hitbox, the bullets becomes larger in a sense. So like it's easier to dive if she's too low.
I see.
I think it's the same for other teams. It's just not that obvious, I think.
Yeah, her height does affect quite a bit even with Ghost Team.
Yeah, cause I don't know why though, because it's supposed to be static.
Yeah, it's mostly because the rice just kind of moves with her, and depending on where she is, it can kind of ruin the memorized
yeah,
movement.
that makes sense.
Yeah, but there are ways around it, but rather crude.
Okay, can we just do some practice and not runs? The fuck are you? Okay. Okay, that's a nice refresh. Hey. I actually don't understand this bridge, including why I have to separate the ghost house in the beginning. I just do it because Alan does it.
How do you keep missing the cancel?
Easier for the cancel?
That's like... If I can count the second time you've missed it in the last 15 minutes. I'm wondering how, because the bomb seems to be dealing the right amount of damage.
Oh yeah, the bomb as well. That's another thing I don't understand. Like sometimes it sometimes her HP went down to just 1 pixel. Sometimes 2 pixels. Most times it's 2 pixels, or sometimes only 1 pixel.
I mean, I've tested this, of course, because I practiced like every grace in the game, and I also had that problem that sometimes it was 1 pixel and sometimes it was 2. But even
Yeah,
with
it's
2 pixels,
kind of confusing.
but you can't have a conversation while you play.
Yeah, I probably shouldn't be talking, but anyway, I already finished the round, so. Oh, this is really hard. Okay. Yeah, so 2 pixels. I shouldn't have gone for that. Yeah. Ah. Well, if it's perfect positioning and timing, then it's really strict. And also because you don't get any kills on the timing, if it's actually right, then
Yeah, you just kind of have to wing it every time.
oh, got lucky there. Uh, so I don't think I can finish another round. If there's nothing you guys wanna watch, we can just call it a day.
I mean, that's your call, really.
Yeah.
Whether you wanna continue or not.
Yeah, I don't usually play for. I don't usually play after I got it wrong, so it's kind of weird. Even though it's only like a showcase, and I usually reset for much longer before I get any wrong. So
It felt like you continued even though you should have reset when you failed the spell in stage 2.
well, yes, but if I reset, I might spend another 30 minutes in stage 1, so I'd rather not reset. Also, I didn't die during stage 2, like the stage portion, which is really lucky. So yeah,
But
they kind of balances off the loss.
for all intents and purposes, if you die in the stage 2 stage portion, it's like... I guess it's different on Lunatic maybe, but on easy mode it's like a 1 million lost. Like, perfectly irrelevant. But I guess if you want to use a suicide later in the game, you can't really have
Well,
that.
it's mostly because the stage 2 is so hard to get through. The random part. Like, you can easily just... Well, I didn't die, but that was pretty nasty RNG there. Like, it's either you do it consistently or you die it to like 10 times in a row. Sometimes.
Sounds familiar.
Yeah, yeah, like because it's so random. Sometimes you just You just don't get the feeling of the cancel right, and you're missing every cancel. And of course that will kill you. Yeah, like when it does this is really bad. Like even this part can kill you if some fire just refuse to cancel their bullets. So I really don't want to reset after I get through stage 2. Yeah, so I think that's it for today. I will start doing runs like starting next month until the end of the year. Hopefully I can get world record. I'm not sure if you guys mentioned it, but yeah, thank you for watching. This is only like 20 mil from the world record, so kinda unfortunate I didn't get it in that run. Yeah, thank you. I didn't expect so many people to come because I'm the only Touhou player in the event. Actually, I don't even know some of the other games are like. Yeah, thank you for Gus for inviting me to the event. Hopefully he can include more Touhou players in the future. That goes for all. Well, he will probably streaming. I don't know which game he will play. Cause I only know him for the PLF3 and Great Fairy War. So if I'm sorry for saying that, but if he plays these two games, I probably won't watch. Yeah, it would be nice. Yeah, I'm still working on USD. Like, did you get 500 mil? I mean, like, it's okay if you don't, because some people just aim for higher and don't get it wrong. Especially since it's USD, some people just can't finish it wrong. Oh wow, I think, oh wow, you probably mean other games, not like non-Touhou games, but okay. Yeah, good luck to you as well. This is, oh okay. Yeah, it's pretty obvious I only do this job.
Pretty funny scoreboards. Mine don't look any different though.
I mean, if you want, you can do like ghost thing pretty easily because it's mostly the same, right? Like it even feels the same because the movement speed is exactly the same. It's just that you don't want to do it. Okay, so that's it for today. Thank you for watching. See you next time.
Thanks for the stream.
Likewise.